All right, what is going on, guys? We are back. Episode number 36 of the Chasing Waypoints podcast. And do we have an interesting show today? So, everybody out in the land of the Facebook has probably seen this and probably seen some press releases floating around the interwebs. But, well, looks like there is going to be another rally event before the end of the year. If you guys tuned into the last episode, we got to talk to Mason, Dan Bart, and Happy Dave on what they're doing to help Mason Klein get out to the car. But just right when that was happening, the information started flowing and the leaks started coming out, and it is official. Baja 1000 will have a Pro Moto Rally class. So, probably a long intro on what you guys are doing. What is he talking about? What is he doing? We're talking to Andy Kirker, the man helping and responsible for this class and bringing it to Baja for the Baja 1000. That's the Score International Baja 1000 coming up in November. So this is going to be pretty awesome. So tonight's episode, we'll be talking a little bit about the details and everything that's coming along with it and what we're planning and what we're doing. We're just 2 months away from the green flag on that one. This is the fabled Baja 1000. This is the one that everybody is after. This is the one where you want the trophy on the shelf. This is the Peninsula run. All the approvals and everything went through. There was the posts from Score International on the website and followed on their social media. We were able to see that, and it looks like it is go time, and it is heading down the peninsula. So we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to do some rally stages up and down and mixing it up. So this is definitely going to be some fun times. I'm going to have to put the vacation request in for work. I'm not going to want to miss this and check it out and get to see some of these rally bikes, dicing it up in some of the best that Baja has to offer. Anyway, let's turn the party down. We're getting the link over to Andy, and we will get this show going. Have some fun, talk over some details, and then you guys will be hearing this on Sunday, and it is game on. So this should be fun. So hang tight. Let's see if we can get Andy on the line. Turn down this party first. Like going off here. Maybe I got to figure out a way to fade it out real smooth like that, all pro DJ stuff and whatnot. That'd be kind of good. So let's see if we can get him over on the line here in just a second. All right, Andy, you there?
Hey, Victor, how are you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
Great.
Excellent. Okay, so the cat is officially out of the bag. Officially. Rally class at the Baja 1000.
Pro Moto Rally class. It's a unique hybrid race that I'm really excited about.
Nice. So it's like instant blew up on social media, and then the post came out and the leak came out, and then it just. So what is this about? What are we doing?
What we're doing is we're welcoming the ability or the opportunity for rally racers to come do one of the largest races and well-known races in the world, the Baja 1000. We've opened our arms saying we're going to create a class for you guys that will embrace not only what you do, but what we do. So it's a hybrid. They're going to race the Baja 1000, and they're also going to be a rally at the same time.
Okay. And so with that, I'm imagining there live race course, special sections, navigation.
Right. So in a nutshell, they will race with the same rules as any other Score racers do. It'll be a live clock, but the difference that's going to set them apart, that's going to make it rally, is the fact that they're going to have to use road books to navigate portions of the course. Actually, all of the course, but it's going to be mainly we're going to have special deviations that have their own waypoints, and they'll have to navigate those in true rally fashion. and they'll take them off the course, and then we'll bring them back onto the course further on. And so they'll be doing several deviations along the way as they're heading from Ensenada to La Paz.
Nice. So this is, wow. I mean, it's really cool. So this is going to be a test. I mean, and just kind of, we talked earlier looking at it. This is huge, because normally in Dakar, you're, several hundred kilometers a day. You stop, take a break, get the massage in, get some food, that kind of thing. But this doesn't sound like that.
No, this is, this is true Baja racing. It is a live clock. It's 1,100 miles long. But it's a little different than the rally people are used to. Is you can have teammates. You don't have to do this solo. You can have up to 5 teammates if you like, which we do. I've been on multi-man teams, and it's a different thing. If you're used to racing by yourself, but then you end up calling some of your competitor friends and you're like, hey, let's do this. We'll get like 2 or 3 guys, and we'll put a team together, and it creates camaraderie and bench racing and planning and all the aspects of actual score racing that I'm used to. It'll probably be foreign to the rally guys, but it's a really fun thing that they'll be able to experience.
Yeah, this is okay. So I'm thinking, all right, so I need a couple riders that are fast on the Baja courses, and then I need some guys that know how to navigate. And I got the perfect team.
Well, not quite. You're going to need some fast guys that know how to navigate, and you're going to need some navigators that know how to race. Because, what the plan is that, well, let me back up. Everybody knows that score racing, the course is announced like a few weeks in advance. The GPS course is handed out a couple weeks in advance, and then we have pre-running. Well, that's fine for the main course, and that's what everybody will have access to that. Even in the rally class, they'll have the whole Baja 1000 course that everybody else races on available to them. They'll have a GPS on the bike. There's VCPs, which are virtual checkpoints, which are similar to waypoints, but that's the term that we use in Baja. And there's several, lots of those. There's speed zones that we have to deal with. All that will be like typical score Baja racing. But what's really different, and only for the rally class, is the roadbook navigation. They're going to have the roadbook in addition to the GPS. And what's going to happen is during most of the main course Baja racing, the roadbook will probably be sort of, I can't think of a better word, but kind of dumbed down, because they always have GPS, and plus we don't want to use up all the roll paper.
Yeah.
So when it gets to the deviations, that's where it'll be detailed, true navigation. So let's say you're going along, and then mile 60, all of a sudden, the road book tells you to turn right when everybody else is going straight. It's like, well, this must be a deviation, and then you're off to what you normally do. You're finding waypoints, and hopefully you don't get lost.
Right off into the sunset, and it's kind of how who was it? Was it in Dust to Glory or in Any Sunday that I'm trying to remember, where they rode clear across the peninsula? You think I should know this?
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to worry about getting lost.
Well, there's certain places where it's only 50 miles from one coast to the other. It's pretty awesome.
Nice.
It's pretty cool when you see the West Coast and you're riding, and you see the East Coast of the water. It's nothing like it.
Very, very different. So, okay, so this is huge. This is different. It's bringing the rally aspect into the sprint, and I mean the Baja 1000 generally isn't considered a sprint, especially down the peninsula.
Right.
Unless you're the top bikes, then I don't know how they do it. But
they have strategies. They have their riders. They figure out who's good at certain areas. They have ways. Now the problem with the Peninsula Run is it's really hard or almost impossible to have a car stay with the lead bikes. The bikes they'll outrun the pit crews. You got to have different pit crews along the way. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about. Pitting, for instance. There's a service called Baja Pits that's been fantastic. They're going to have something like 24 manned pits that you sign up and pay for your pitting service, and they're about every 50 miles. And they with your the fee they includes all your fuel and water and stuff as you come in. So that's an easy way to handle your pits. So you don't have to worry about having a bunch of wives and friends with cars trying to figure it out. So
it helps minimize the requirement of manpower and do that. And I've been around. I don't know how the Baja Pits guys get into where they get into sometimes. But you'll be running this race course, and here's the classic, iconic, Baja Pits sign in the middle of nowhere.
The orange Easy Apps,
yes,
the big orange signs, middle of nowhere, yeah.
And for those playing the home game, when we say middle of nowhere, it's like the middle of nowhere, the definition of it.
It's pretty desolate in some areas. It's really awesome. It's the Wild West.
It is.
You see things along the way that you'll see donkeys, you'll see cows, you'll see cars, you'll see spectators that you would never expect them. They're probably 50 miles away from the nearest pavement or town, and they're just sitting on a rock just watching the race. Like, how'd that guy get there?
I haven't seen crazy. Anyone in 100 miles, and here's this guy.
Now, that's the beauty of Baja. That's kind of one of the reasons why when this idea came up of opening up to the rally racers, because it's a whole other demographic or segment of motorcycling that isn't doing and experiencing this. And anybody who races Baja falls in love with it. And even with the rallies you guys have done in Baja, you've got to get a taste of what I'm talking about. It's just magical down there. It's crazy but awesome at the same time, and it's beautiful.
Yeah. And that kind of brings up. It's interesting. I mean, with rally bikes, right? 300 kilometer autonomous range. They're the pitting and all of that stuff. I mean, you guys are pretty much leaving that kind of stuff open, but it's the biggest aspect is navigation, or what's
right now. We considered the fuel aspect. We were trying to think how. I want to make sure that they have enough rally aspect to it, so that it's just not it's not a token rally. I mean, I want it to be a really rally. Mm-hmm. So, but we were talking about the fuel, and there's, part of the problem is it's really short notice. We brought this in, and we're shooting for the Baja 1000 because it is the point-to-point race. And if we weren't going to be able to get it this time, we'd have to wait 2 years at least before we're doing this again. And I just didn't want to wait. So the fuel aspect of it, we decided to let it go and just let it be open as far as they can pit with the Baja pits every 50 miles, or they can take advantage of their larger capacity and skip a pit, whatever. We're going to leave it up to them because I just didn't want to complicate it too much, being our first go at it. I wanted to make sure we do what we're doing correctly and safely.
Good. So that, and I could see, because how do you really... There's just so many remote and desolate places. I think that the essence of it is the navigation. I mean, right. And going back to the fuel situation, and if we did put a kind of stipulation on it, which we were going to originally, but now you have to monitor it. Now, how do you enforce it? And there's some ways, but again, it was just getting more complicated. And it's doable, but I to be honest with you, I didn't want to burden SCORE with more work than I'm already giving them. Because I'm fascinated, I'm thrilled, and kind of shocked that they have opened up to this idea and having a deviation in the course and having the open-mindedness that it's really refreshing, because they've embraced it and they're really willing to work with it, and it's awesome that this thing is all coming together. And I mean, and random, like, okay, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, hey, SCORE's going to do a rally class for the Baja 1000, no.
No, we weren't going to do it 6 months ago.
So how did this get started? What was where did this start?
All right. Well, it's really kind of a funny story. I have to give you a little bit of backstory first on why I'm involved with SCORE.
Yeah.
And it just started out, and a long story short, I was involved with the organization in 2009. We had some issues. I got involved with wanting to correct some issues, and I ended up introducing the VCP program and software monitoring of the racers to SCORE, and was very involved with that and racing at the same time. Fast forward to nowadays, I quit. I'm 65 years old. I ended up finally quitting racing a couple of years ago. And I found myself really bored as a spectator. And so I wanted to be involved with the organization again because I have so much experience at both racing and with the scoring mechanisms, GPS files and auditing and things like that. So I approached the race director, Jose G, with an email and just introduced myself. Said, yeah, I used to race all the time, which he knew. I briefly told him the story of how I got involved with the scoring programs and all that, and the VCPs that I introduced to SCORE. And I said, look, I'm going out of my skull watching these races, not being involved. I don't want to race anymore because I want to be involved on another level like I used to be. And he welcomed me. And so I've been working with him again for the last couple of years, and I've become really good friends with the race director and the other people in the organization, and learn to understand how it works, what goes on, and definitely dispel a lot of the myths that people think that that what goes on there. But I see firsthand how it operates. But in my role there, I've become basically the voice of the moto classes. And with my experience on both sides of the scoring and being a racer for 40 years down there, I bring a lot to the table. And also, I think I know how to compartmentalize, where I can be fair and do what the right thing is and not to play favorites with who my friends are. And I think I have a lot more friends because of that, because I am a fair and honest person and logical. And I think Jose G sees that in me and has respects me for it. And we have great conversations on how to fix things as we see them and improve the sport. So that, coming to that. So what happened was an individual had made a request to SCORE about maybe bringing in a twin cylinder class of the motorcycles into SCORE racing. And so Jose sent an email to me and goes, hey, what do you think about this? Let's talk about it. And so we ended up having a meeting, and I think it was a Zoom with the guy, and we were talking about it, and we had like an hour-long conversation, kind of kicking it around, the twin cylinders, 650 cc's and above, different things. And during that conversation, I just said, hey, while we're at it, why don't we look at doing a rally class? I mean, there's a whole segment out there of people that love dirt bike racing that aren't here. They should be here. They should be doing what we're doing. It's awesome. And the conversation shifted to that a little bit, and we kind of kicked it around. And a few weeks later, the more we talked about it, the more we found interest in the rally side. And the more people I talked to, how we would do it and what it would take, it just started getting momentum. And unfortunately, the other class, which we call the hooligan class, got put to the wayside. And now the rally thing just came out of that meeting. And it's here we are today. What's been really cool, and I've meeting a lot of the rally people on phones or in person, and getting their advice and just telling them what our plan is and what do I need to know and how do we do it, and brainstorming with them. And I have met some of the top rally guys in your sport, and they're all awesome. And they've been really helpful. And I kind of see a trend where they have this methodical mindset and logical and probably, I'm starting to realize that I think rally is kind of an intellectual sport. It's cool.
You got to be on your game with a road book, because you can ride off into the sunset before you know it.
I mean, the list of people that have been helping me, learn what it's going to do for this race to put it together. And don't forget, I only have 2 months to do this. Mike Johnson's been really helpful. I've spoken with Scott Bright, Johnny Campbell. I met Toby Price and spent 20 minutes talking to him about it. Ricky Brabeck I've spoken with him about it. Stefan Rosner, I think he's from Bosnia. Chavo Salvateria is from, I think he's done Dakar 8 times. I mean, all these people have been advising and putting in their 2 cents, and we've taken all that information and compiled it into what we're doing now, all with the mindset of trying to make it as easy on score as I can and trying to make it as attractive as I can to the rally guys, and just kind of blending that together and trying to put out this unique product.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it's for anybody and everybody. I mean, obviously the Baja 1000 is a household name. I mean, that's just maybe people, Dust to Glory, all of the movies, all the stuff, all the documentaries. The name is there, and the event and the prestige of the event. But now you're adding another layer to it. You're adding a unique feature to it that is not. It's unique, right? We've talked about unique. But,
it's unique.
Yeah, very unique. And not only that, but like you mentioned earlier, like, okay, so now we're talking about running a rally factory bike. The end goal, right, is a factory bike for 1,100 miles straight at pace, right. Live clock, no bivouac, no. Well, the bivouac's at the end. There's a few choice places in La Paz or Cabo or wherever we're headed to for this year.
La
Paz. But this is gonna. It's interesting. I mean, yeah, and so many miles covered. And so there's. I mean,
well, what you're saying about like the distance, the bikes nowadays are amazing. They're really well built. There's some problems occasionally, but compared to the old days, the attrition rate when I first started racing down there was at least 50%, and now it's amazing how many finishes there are.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the technology and that's something the technology is only making everything that races desert faster. The trucks are getting faster, the bikes are getting faster. The trucks seem to be growing exponentially in speed.
They are,
and so it's the keeping ahead of the game. So I don't, that might be something. I don't know if there's been this conversation about it. Is like, how would this play in when you're sending bikes on a different course and then coming back to the race course?
Yeah, we've taken that in big consideration because we're taking the assumption that the navigating is going to slow them down a bit. And so that in order to make up for that slowdown, we're going to carefully use these deviations in ways to help advance them up the course. So maybe they'll have more highway miles than the other court racers will, or maybe they'll have a shorter, they'll be cut off like a certain loop that's kind of looping back to the highway, but we can cut that off and advance them. Our goal is to try and keep them within the same mix of all the other racers, so they're not becoming stragglers.
Mm-hmm. And that and having this, I mean, it makes it. I mean, just big picture, logistically wise, the course planned accordingly makes that very possible. Where right now, where if everybody's running the same course, it's. I know there's like the sportsman cutoffs and stuff like that, but you generally don't send the bikes down that. Yeah.
So yeah, since everyone's this race it weaves around Highway 1 going down the peninsula, so you kind of have some options. It's nice. Not unlike a dollar bill sign.
Yeah,
and the course is going on the loopy part, and the highway is kind of the straight part.
Yeah, and I mean, in either way, I mean, it's we all know Baja is just this horrible place that nobody wants to visit anyway, right? He said that sarcastically.
Don't tell anybody. It's a horrible place. Don't come here.
Don't. No. This is, I think it's definitely very unique. And so I caught a couple of hints in there. So you've taken a green flag at these events then, I take it.
Yeah, I've taken several.
Okay.
I've been racing down there for, God, I don't know, almost 50 years.
Wow.
And I took a break for maybe 20 years, but I've done at least 40 score races. I've been on 6 or 7 championship teams. Probably put in more miles or team miles than any other rider in the 50 class teams. Been with Jim O'Neill's teams for the whole time, and never raced a car. So, been on 2 wheels. I've tried driving a car down there, and I've come to the realization that bikes are the best. It's the best sport on the planet.
Yeah, it's very different for sure.
I took that break. My history is I started out desert racer, became pretty successful, and back in District 37 desert racing. And back then, the next step, once you reach the sort of the top, the next step was Baja. That was like our Super Bowl or our Supercross or whatever you want to call it. It was the big time was the Dakota Baja and race. And I did several races during the 70s and early 80s. And then in that time in my career, I just tried to be I wanted to be a motocrosser. So I completely stopped doing desert and concentrated fully on motocross, and had some success there where I was able to qualify for AMA Nationals, and I even did a few Supercross races. I didn't win them, obviously, but it was good for me to get there. But when I got there, they were really good. And so I have a really well-rounded motorcycle background. And then during that time, I had a roommate that got paralyzed, and I was about 28 years old at the time, and I kind of took the wind out of my sails. I kind of felt like it's kind of, at the end of my career as being a top pro it could be. And so I took a break from motorcycles and did some jet ski racing and mountain bike racing. And I ended up doing in my 40s a sport called adventure racing, it's kind of like a off-road triathlon with a team of 3 people. And you navigate like with mountain biking and trail running and kayaking and mountaineering. And why I'm telling you all this is because another component of adventure racing is navigation. Mm-hmm. We used maps. We weren't allowed GPSs. We had waypoints there. And so I have a little bit of navigational background, so I'm not a complete dummy when it comes to this, but I certainly no expert in rally. Mm.
It sounds like you've talked to a couple people that know a thing or two about that one orange bike riding mullet guy.
Yeah, that mullet guy.
I heard he's won something.
Doing in Baja, but with that funny accent, I could hardly understand him. But he was really interested in this concept. We talked for about 20 minutes, and it was all positive. I mean, in fact, most people that they look at this a little bit cross-eyed and skeptical. That, well, what about this? And I've been spending 2 months of my life just day and night just thinking about every aspect of it and talking to people and coming up with solutions for every little thing. And I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's most of it's been thought through. And one of the things that's been really fortunate, it all kind of fell into place really easy. First of all, how do we deal with navigating with the scoring? Like, how do we have separate course on this course when we're already used to scoring, with one? And they no problem. We do that already with other classes or this other, the sportsmen or other kind of racing. We've already done it. So that was that was easy. So the Stella guy has that completely worked out. Then I was thinking, well, how do we get the road books? Who does that? It's going to be a big deal. Well, guess what? One of SCORE's employees is a road book guy. That's all he does on his spare time is rallies and road books. So instant and road book expert at my disposal. So that problem was solved. So it got lucky in a lot of ways, but it's all coming together. It's like it's meant to be.
Yeah. All the little pieces are fighting, and then like any good business, right? You got the right people around you, and then that's what's going to help you.
Yeah, I got great people around me. I mean, the interest level has been really positive. Any of the skepticism after a couple rounds of just explaining turns into, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
But the thing got to look at it. It's not a rally. It's not a score Baja. It's a brand new thing, and it could just really just go viral. I mean, it could be a big thing, and it could be the future of our sport, because as land access becomes an issue, marked courses might be a problem. The rally aspect, and and maybe even stages. I'm not really looking forward to these changes, but maybe those would be necessary changes in order to keep sport alive. This could be part of evolution of it right now, right before our eyes.
Yeah. Well, it allows, it allows options. The course isn't marked, which means that it could limit the spectating into certain areas. It could, help on that, especially if there's property owners out there or landowners that are a little bit anxious of that, and having people on their property.
I mean, I can see the advantages, but I just hate to see the what I'm used to, the fun of live racing, the I don't know. We're trying to preserve the regular Baja, but this is a way of introducing both to people. I don't know. It's a win-win. I mean, the fact that you can do this, which is going to be a really long, tough, hard, and prestigious rally, is also the Baja 1000. You get a Baja 1000 finisher pin, and you can win prizes. I mean, Rottweiler Performance is who makes products for rally bikes and adventure bikes, is our primary title sponsor for this class. They got a $5,000 cash purse, $3,000 for first place, $1,500 for second place, $500 for third place, and $250 gift certificates and for fourth and fifth place. I mean, that's a generous sponsorship.
Yeah, talk about the right people and then getting serious. He was,
all
right. What do we got?
Chris's company wants to. They want to see this happen because it's a way for Chris to be back involved in Baja, because he used to race Baja. Like I was saying, we met down there in 2008 and became friends. I watched his company Rottweiler just grow leaps and bounds. They're really successful, and now he wants to give back to the sport. It's awesome.
Yeah. I'm working on it. I'm pretty much. I asked him for the account number so I could just start direct depositing my check into it. So
there you go. Yeah. He's a philanthropist now.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, there's we've talked, and my story with him, and that's why I was like, oh, this guy's cool. Is when we were at Sonora Rally, and he designed and built this tower for the new electronic road book from the ICO camp. And
yeah, I heard about that.
And I'm looking at this thing and I'm going, how long did it take? It's like, this was done in like a week. And I go, dude, this thing is crazy. He just looks at me and says, well, do I look like I fuck around? And I was like,
that sounds like Chris. You should see his shop. It's a beautiful shop. They've got 6 or 7 CNC machines. I mean, they make beautiful parts. He's like a mad scientist. He has more focus than anybody I've ever met. He'll take an idea and he'll spend 30 hours at his desk designing it and figuring it out and then making it. And his attention to detail is amazing.
You've made it, and you've walked into one of those shops when the door handles on the cabinets are your logo.
Yeah,
I see that in the videos that they do, which is awesome. Like I did the intake on my 790. And if it wasn't for that video, I probably would have bolted it to the exhaust. But yeah, just watch it.
While we're on that subject, the fact that Rottweiler came in and pretty much raised the bar for prize money for just one class is kind of, I think it's spurring interest from other classes. For instance, Daniel Velasquez at Carrera 777 in Ensenada. He's getting, he's the distributor for Fast House and Night Rider. He's getting interest in getting those kind of people to kick in and start sponsoring this event. I think Maxima Oils is got cash prizes for the moto classes. It's starting to people are starting to see Baja again. COVID is kind of over in a sense that it's opened up. There's no border issues. I I have a second house down there, so I'm in Baja a lot. During COVID, everyone's talking about, oh, are you afraid it's a border problem? I've been down. I've been counting. I've been down there 21 times since COVID started.
Yeah. And nothing. I mean, it's I've yet to run into it. And I we can graze on that, but I think that they're like, I've gone down to Valle Guadalupe and into the restaurants and all that stuff, and they wipe the tables in front of you. Like they're serious.
Their cleanliness and enforcement around COVID is more strict than California for sure.
Yeah.
They've done I think the laws are maybe more strict for the restaurants, but they adhere to it more, and I respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it's like I've traveled to and from unimpeded, never been asked a single question about COVID in either direction. No. So,
and Ensenada is one of the safest cities in Mexico. It's I go there a lot. I feel almost I feel safer than I would in some of the Southern California places.
Well, and then you got the food and the beer, which I'll blame roughly 22 roughly about 22 and a half of my pounds on. But it's you have everything, everything there. It's the perfect town to get away with, and then to start this thing, and
we mentioned the word safety. I want to touch on a subject, for instance. This is a big, long race, and I'm not sure. I'm sure Dakar is we've got a lot of infrastructure and safety, but I don't know what some of the smaller rallies are like that. But I can tell you from SCORE, safety is high priority. That they have over 600 course workers for this event. They probably have somewhere between 25 and 40 ambulances stationed all up and down the route. They have 2 helicopters with EMTs in them, and the last race, they even gave me command of one of the helicopters to scout and lead and chase for the lead bikes and clear the path and be there if anything happens. SCORE is really stepping it up for the moto classes now, and safety is high priority. We have speed zones on the highways that are so that we're not going 100 miles an hour in like we used to in the old days.
Yeah, it's definitely roping people in, okay, so that's actually a really good point. It's like if you're up there, go ahead.
There's one more safety point I want to add. They have the Stella devices, which have satellite communication. We're monitoring in the war room at the start finish line where I often work. We've got live satellite tracking on everybody. It's not the same as what you see in the public. We're seeing, real time data, not the 10-minute jump aheads like you see on the public website. Mm-hmm. So we're monitoring. We can see where everybody is at any given time, and we can communicate. We can even send messages through the Stella. Also, the riders themselves have a secondary device called a Spica, which is also a satellite recording device. So if the rider were to even get separated from their bike, they have a way of hitting the SOS button, and we can rescue them. So as far as being a really dangerous thing, it's also really safe compared to what it could be.
Yeah. There's multiple forms of communication and multiple things. And I've worked more with the rally comp, so I'm more familiar with the platform and being able to but it's huge. Just having the ability to message and having the ability to know where people are at. I know that the Stellas do have the push to pass as well. So they're, if you're behind somebody, you can send them the alert.
Exactly.
Hey, I'm here, and so, this is.
And speaking, it's really cool. And speaking of rally comp, Mike Johnson, who I believe is, that's his thing. He's been really helpful in mentoring me on this. And one of the things he offers up, he does rally schools, and he's offering up maybe to help anybody that's new in the rally that wants to do this class. They'll probably put together a school or a classroom type environment to help people kind of understand what they need to do to get ready for this big event. We're going to have special rally class only meetings at the riders meetings, and that's where we'll be handing out the road books. So they'll have some time to look at them, but not very much time. They won't be able to pre-run them. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, no, and that's what I mean. This is awesome, and I mean, I just thought about it. Oh, this is perfect. So it's like even the teams, the smaller teams, right? I believe this in rally at the normal rally raids, but it evens out the playing field because once it comes to navigation, no GPS files. It's not about who can hold it pinned the longest,
right?
Or
absolutely.
is willing to,
Oh, and speaking of waypoints, I can't say at this point because it's not signed up yet, but there's a sponsor that wants to have a navigational prize, like the most waypoints hit versus like how you finish overall,
Okay.
Prize for that class. So this class is getting more attention than I think the other classes might get jealous. I don't know. It's getting a lot of attention.
Well, and so
and one of the things that it could do, it possibly could start a whole new format of racing. Again, it's a hybrid. If you think about it, I used to do a lot of this, what we'd call Grand Prix racing, which is kind of a long course, sort of moto-y, sort of desert-y course called Grand Prix. A lot of people are familiar with SRA Grand Prix that Glen Helen or the District 37 puts on the Big Six. Now it's called the National Grand Prix Championship Series. But if you think about that, they're a hybrid between moto and desert, and now it's a whole thing on its own. Maybe Pro Moto Rally could be the start of something new that we don't even realize it's happening right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, it has that component. It has the sprint race component, and then it has the navigational component. And yeah, maybe this year it's a team event, next year it's not, or maybe you get both. I don't know.
Yeah, we considered it. We wanted, I know rally guys are pretty tough, but the 1,100 miles of straight Baja is really tough also. And we didn't want to scare everybody away. So at this point, we decided not to put a rider limitation on it, which we don't really have on the other classes anyway. So that may change in the future. We may start limiting. I mean, when I first started racing, we had a limitation. It was 2 riders. When I did the 1,000 back then, like I had Scott Harden for a teammate, we were just discussed. We was like, okay, I'll do the start, you do the finish. That was it. That was your plan. I do 500 miles, you do 500 miles.
Yeah, problem solved.
Yeah.
So then there's 2 questions that I have. So if you decided to sign up for this and be like, well, I'm just going to ride the whole thing myself, 1,100 miles, new class, I'm going to do the rally navigation part of it, and I'm going to do the traditional score part of it. Do you get the Ironman finishing medal?
That hasn't been officially discussed.
Okay.
I'm going to say probably not.
Okay.
Because there already is an Ironman class that's not part of the rally component. And there's several crazy Ironman people out there that are going to do this the full way. In fact, one of my friends, Giovanni Spinelli, who's the 50 class champion almost, he's going to be because he's won all 3 of the races so far. Because they got a big point lead, I believe he's going to, as driver of record, just start his 50 class team bike and just do a short distance and then jump back onto an Ironman bike and try and win 2 classes.
There we go. Okay. He's
going to Ironman the 1,000 and hopefully win the 50 class at the same time.
Nice. Well, that's all right. All right. So setting some goals there.
No, so the rally guys, they should, if they're good enough to go 1,000 miles solo, they should try and win that $3,000 prize.
Yeah. Just make it. Yeah. Meet Chris at the other end, shaking hands.
Yeah. They have a margarita waiting for him.
There we go. Yeah, that should also be part of the Chris. If you're listening, that's now part of the rules. Also, it's got to be a margarita involved.
Mandatory. That's going to be part of the special test. It'll be every deviation is a margarita.
Okay, for every waypoint. How about that? And it's payable on the end.
No, waypoints are tacos.
Oh, okay. Oh man. So the other question is, so it's been a long standing thing of mine that It would be awesome to see them, but I doubt it will ever happen. But this is bringing the big bikes back to Dakar. With that, big bikes, meaning over, that 700cc limit. I think it's a 650cc limit, right, for this class?
Yeah, and the reason we did that, we originally were trying to make it similar to rally racing with like Dakar with its 450, but I thought, well, there's guys that have dual sports like 510s, and we don't want to eliminate those guys. And then we'll make it 525 because there's old KTM's that are 525 out there.
Mm-hmm.
Then we thought, well, wait, there's guys with 650s that do Baja and stuff, and I've seen pictures of guys with 650s and towers. We don't want to eliminate those guys, so let's make it 650 then. We want to make it easy. We want to make it easy for people to join this class and experience not only the Baja 1000, but also get introduced to rally, perhaps, or maybe rally people introduce stuff to us. I mean, we're melding two different disciplines and different groups of people together.
Yeah.
And it could be an international, I mean, it already is an international event, but it could become a big international rally. And for those of you that, in Europe listening to this, or Canada, there's a guy that is on our Facebook page that we put an announcement up for. He's got several ready to go race bikes. So he's got a rental program available, so you can fly in and pay and play and fly back out without you won't have to deal with customs.
Nice. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Is that Poncho? Yes, Pro?
It is. I've just drawn a blank on there.
Yeah. No, he's a cool guy, and I saw the video. He did a promo video, and I saw he's got a few new bikes there, some Huskies, I believe.
Yeah, that looks great. The video is awesome. I put a link. He's advertised on the Pro Moto Rally Facebook group page, so everybody check that out. That's where we're going to use that as an informal swap and share information, and you can look for other teammates there. You can find out where you can buy products like rally equipment, or you need things like you said, rental or pit support. And it's a place where everybody can talk rally and talk 1,000 and get their plan together. Yeah. Got 2 months. Let's get
it going. Yeah, and that's a really good point. So you have the Facebook group Pro Moto Rally, which is cool because I will kind of do the Bivouac thing, because that's one of the other things with the whole rally raid thing is like, we are competitors, but at the same time, like, they help each other. They understand the desolate nature of this and helping, not leaving somebody behind and doing that. So I think that's a cool place, for people to kind of start meeting, because once the race starts, obviously it's going to be live clock, but everybody will know everybody. So that's, I joined it earlier when I heard, or I saw it pop up. I'm like, what's this? I saw it. Thank you. I saw the tag for the Chasing Waypoints thing, and I was like, oh, okay. And that's going to be awesome. And that's a really good point. If there's, because I don't know what's going on with the restrictions in Canada. I hear they can fly. This is all speculated. They're obviously going to know better, but I can hear they can fly over. But the problem is crossing their bikes over may be an issue.
Right. And I've heard that some other events or something where people had issues with customs, and this is a workaround for that. And if you think about it, people to do a rally of this magnitude, the costs compared to trying to go do it at Dakar, it's got to be 10 times less expensive.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's down the peninsula, you have the hotels, you have all of that stuff. Yeah, it's still, you're going to need the logistics. You'll need some chase crews and stuff like that. But no, by no means. I've heard numbers as like 100,000, 130,000 for Dakar if you're going to do it. And as I mean, you could spend that down here, but you're going to get pretty close to running the entire season.
You might own the country. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a chunk. Yeah.
The other thing, I was just thinking about this. It wouldn't be a bad idea for some of the rally people to maybe bring in, experienced Baja people on their team, teach them some navigation, try and figure out maybe, try and get second guess where we're going to put the stations just by using Google Earth and what have you. There's certain limitations that you can't do or whatever. So you could probably, come up with a strategy and put an experienced racer in places that where the navigation part wouldn't hurt as much if he blew it.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is by having experienced Baja people on your team, they know all about dealing with pitting and getting your vehicles onto the live without causing an issue, how to deal with getting gas along the way, and how to deal with hotels and the restaurants, and they have the experience. So it would be a good way to incorporate experience into your team, because it is a team aspect now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm serious as I'm looking at it. I'm just thinking, literally, is that special stage, that deviation within it is the balancing point. I mean,
it is.
Being on it. I mean,
the equalizer.
Yeah. I mean, you put Colton Udall. You put Colton Udall on a bike, and if he was, like I always say the same thing, is even if he was only allowed to go to second gear, I still couldn't catch him. He's just that fast. But this
Colton's amazing.
Yeah. I always laugh when he says, "Oh yeah, I'll probably ride like 600 miles. I think is going to be my stint." Like in just a shot. I mean, the stints that this guy does is just insane. I don't know if you heard, but on the podium at the last race, he put it out there that he and his partner are going to just do 2-man for the Baja 1000. That's it. And they're challenging everybody in the pro class to do the same. Yeah. And have a real man's race like the old days. We'll see if it happens or not. That is some straight MAN stuff right there, because that is not saying that, I listeners, I'm not saying anything, but that is like some gnarly stuff, because I remember the days when I first started riding a dirt bike with my buddy, and it was like, if I went 10 miles, I was proud of myself. I wanted the brownies and the beer when I got back, but you're kind of hitting on what the beauty of riding a dirt bike is. You ride to your best, to your ability, and riding to the edge of your ability is that exciting zone. If you're just a slow little novice, you reach that zone easy, that edge, but it's just as exhilarating as if you're a top pro reaching your edge. Yeah. That's the beauty of bikes. And You mentioned earlier too about talking about driving the race car or being in a car versus being on a bike, and the people that have never ridden a bike. I don't want to exclude them with this statement, but you don't know. You could drive the same road a billion times. Your commute home on a motorcycle versus a car is completely different. So yeah. So is the desert. I had a chance to drive about 250 miles in Baja in a real race car. And that was just a few months ago. And I was testing for something to see if I wanted to get involved with a program with car racing. And it's a very capable car. It had something like 27 inches of travel and good motoring. Very capable. And it was fun. It was really fun. But this feeling that I had, you got a 5-point harness. You got a net you got to put up. You've got communication. You can't affect the way the handle. The only thing you can do is your feet and steering wheel. I mean, the way we ride the bike, we're using our whole body extension of the bike, and it doesn't work that way in a car. And I miss that. And yeah, the cars are fun and everything. I suppose a trophy truck would be even fun, but it's not the same. I mean, it made me realize there is nothing in my mind better than riding a bike in Baja. Yeah. For those of you that haven't experienced it, Cameron Steele calls it the Never Never or Neverland with the bosom trees on a motorcycle. That is some of the most epic sunsets. And just, even if you're just riding the highway, not even in the dirt, just riding the highway through there is awesome at sunset. So this will be a perfect opportunity to probably do that again. Yeah. You're not going to miss this. No. Yeah, this is tomorrow the email's going out that I'm going to need some time off in November. The more you go down there, the more you go down there. That's what happens. Yeah. You just get hooked on it. All I can say is that the rally guys that are going to come to Baja for the first time,
just talk to pros like myself or other people that have done it a million years. We have so much knowledge in our head unloaded. We want to give it to people, not get hurt. We want to help them enjoy the experience. We love it. We want to pass it on. It's our passion.
Yeah. No, this is well, and so on that was would the Pro Moto Rally group on Facebook be the best place to get a hold of you, or
for me, yeah,
okay.
personally, and then all Score's website, what is it? Score-international.com is where all the official information is. Mm-hmm. As far as signing up and looking at the rules, and speaking of rules, read the rules. There's a lot of you need to, and it's all doable. Understand and recognize and reckon those rules. There's and sometimes but they're there for a reason. They're I'm just saying, just read them. Make sure you understand. Don't take stuff for granted.
Yeah. Well, and that's and I don't know. I don't know if you're moving around a little bit, but it's cutting out just a hair.
Apologize.
Yeah, no worries. And so that's an important thing. So for somebody like, I remember with the Score races, the drivers meeting was always a big deal. You had to be at the drivers meeting because that's where the course changes were. That's where the last minute stuff that you needed to know was there.
Yeah, that's still the case. Mm-hmm. But it's also because of electronic. We've got, we can put out bulletins. The score, any course changes can be uploaded on GPX files quickly, and so. But yeah, the riders and drivers meetings are mandatory. Either driver record or representative has to be there, and you don't want to miss them because they're it's part of the thing. You get to sit there and sit next to people that are famous, like Robbie Gordon or Bryce Menzies, who's winning everything in the Red Bull truck, and we could be on a little tiny $7,000 beat up motorcycle and be sitting next to a guy that's driving $1.5 million truck, and just talk to him about oh, did you see that rut right by mile 97? It's just Baja talk.
Yeah. In the end, everybody's on the same playing field. They're just talking. Yeah, that's
I don't know any other sport day you can get that close to the factory. The stars like that. It's they're so accessible.
Yeah. And everybody, is willing to help. I mean, this was back in the day, but I remember the story of my dad and my mom. They were in the 5/1600, and Mark Post runs over and helps change the tire.
Cool.
on a Baja Bug. It's like,
and he's famous.
And yeah. So it's like it's whether honestly, I mean the obviously the bivouacs in a rally raid are different, but still Baja is not behind on that. That everybody tries to help each other out when they can, and there's the racer's favor. For me here in this section, but it'll probably be you the next section. So there's
it's fun. It really is, and what's amazing is what I call these little cities that just pop up in the middle of nowhere. Like maybe the course comes across a road crossing, and then all these people are there for a short period of time, but there's all these lights and fires and music and barbecues and vendors even. There's even places on the course where they got a guy's made a margarita vending tricycle thing, like a little vending. What do you call those things? Like a street vendor, of margaritas out in the middle of nowhere on the course, where these little cities pop up.
Yeah,
it's just magical. So we need to.
Yeah,
something that the rally community, once they get a taste of this, they're going to be hooked.
Oh yeah, no, I think that this is the new concept, right? Now you're going to blend the two sports together, and in this hybrid thing, and I think that it's going to balance it out for people. I mean, it will give opportunities to the guys that have always raced rally. Here's a little bit of my strong suit mixed with a little bit of their stuff. and vice versa. So I think that this is going to be
and you know what else it's going to do? It's going to increase interest in rally. Besides, bringing rally to our side, it's got I never really gave it much thought until now. I'm really involved. It's like I think I want to start doing this. It looks fun. It's going to show. It's going to bring pique a lot of interest that way. So it's going to be. I mean, all of us want more participation. And it just helps. I think.
Yeah, I think that you better be careful because next thing you know, you're going to be in Texas at rally camp with Mike Johnson.
I've already been invited.
There you go.
I'm ready to go.
There you go. Yeah, so definitely. It's interesting. I'm just thinking. I'm like, how do you kind of share the experience of like if somebody right now was in Europe and listening to this, or they're in Canada. And I know a lot of the Canada guys know Baja, but Dust to Glory is obviously one of the ones.
That's a great one.
Yeah, and then I just saw. I don't know if you've seen it. The one with Larry Jansky, that Into the Dust. I just watched.
I haven't seen those yet. I want to watch it, but I haven't seen them yet. Yeah. One way to do that would be like, say you're in Europe and you want to see what's this Baja thing they're always talking about. Maybe start Googling, Baja, like the last race, and just look at some of the in-car camera that's out there, and you'll see how the course lined with spectators and things, and it's really amazing.
Nice.
And then the other thing that I don't think we've touched on yet, that there's a good portion of this race is going to be run at night.
Ooh, the fun stuff. I like riding at night.
I love night riding, and people think, oh, you got to have really good eyes if you can see at night. No, you got to have really good lights. Mm-hmm. You don't use night vision; you use lights.
Yeah.
And we've got vendors that Baja Designs makes lights. A friend of mine, Dennis Green at DMG, makes Baja light fixtures and things, and we can get people hooked up with good lights. But it's beautiful. The race will probably, unofficially, the time I think is going to be 2 a.m. It's going to be start. So it'll be a few hours of dark in the beginning, race all day, finish in the dark again. It's going to be a challenge. Now, obviously, we're going to take consideration, the difficulty of the deviations, whether daylight or nighttime too, just because, we got to be safety first. So
yeah, no, of course, and I mean that's riding a bike in Baja is inherently dangerous. It's just it's part of it, but that's anywhere riding a bike to the 7-Eleven is also dangerous.
Well, there's some safety. I mean, it's kind of funny, but one of the reasons why we start in the morning, early like that, is it actually is safer in the aspect that you don't have the crazy amount of spectators at the start at 2 a.m. in the morning. You don't have people, drunk guys doing weird things that unexpectedly. Yeah. So you don't have cars going backwards on the course as much at 2 a.m. as you would at 9 a.m. And if they are, you can see their headlights. So it's in a sense, it's actually safer to get the bikes out of town and on the route. It actually turned out to be safer.
Yeah, getting them out there. So I think my closing one it is, and I always remember this. We have one downstairs, the Baja trophies. We're gonna get Chris to make one from Rottweiler.
I think we could talk him into it.
Yeah, I think that would be right.
They will get the actual official score trophies for the Baja 1000 and the official finisher pins. I mean, those are nice.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I can't stress it enough. You get to do this really cool, badass long rally and the Baja 1000 at the same time.
Yeah. That's going to be
nothing like it. There's nothing been like it before.
No. I mean, it's distance wise, yeah, you get close, but definitely not with a live clock the whole way down.
Yeah, that's going to be something new for these guys, but we can teach them. You can
teach them how it works.
Pull our knowledge and what it takes to deal with a live clock, how you plan your pit strategies, and how you have your wheels changes set up and practice it. And,
nice.
Nice. We watched the lead change of the last race because they had about a 2.5-3 minute wheel change, and the physical lead changed at that pit. It's on video.
Yeah.
Where you can when you practice it, you can change a Honda rear wheel in 35 seconds. We've done it.
That's crazy. Oh man.
Yeah.
And that's dealing with a change, or dealing with the chain and all of this stuff.
Chain and brake. But Chris was the one that kind of perfected that. Chris from Rottweiler. He about 10 years ago, he was showing me. He even made little adapters that would kind of hold the chain in place on the swing arm so it wouldn't drop off. And he had it down to 35 seconds. It was awesome.
Jeez. Well, to be honest, I'd expect nothing less. I've seen the rally bikes he builds.
Good stuff.
Yeah, good stuff. All right. Well,
so I think we've touched on most of the subjects. Is there any, if we can, the public is welcome to ask me anything on that page. I'll be happy to try and answer every one of your questions. The easiest way for me to do that is that Facebook page, and it's Pro Moto Rally on Facebook.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the description of the podcast for when it goes out, and so that way we can get it. Which, I mean, if you're listening to it, it's on Sunday, so it'll be headed out the door, and we'll get some links in there to the Facebook group, and let's see how fast we can grow this thing and get some rally bikes to Baja.
Yeah, I'm really excited and nervous at the same time, but that's good stuff.
Yeah, out of the comfort zone, but into the more fun zone too. So should be good.
The one last thing is, if this does become as big as it sounds like it's going to get, being part of the very first one is really special too.
Yeah. Oh, this is for the guys that are, and I think that's going to have its draw because. For two things. One, we hope that it grows and it continues. And then if it doesn't, it's still it's even more unique. It was the one time that they did this thing. It was a once in a lifetime. It's like the Baja 2000. Or
the Catalina Grand Prix.
They've talked about, it's just, well, we should do that, and it hasn't happened. So if you were there, you were there, and
exactly.
So I think
the thing is, this point-to-point run doesn't happen every year. It's usually on a 2-year schedule, and with COVID and things, it got skipped. So we're not getting any younger. Go do it.
Yeah, time to sign up. So so we'll get more info on that. So I'll link the SCORE website on there, and then I'll link probably the rule book as well, and then from there get the Pro Moto Rally link as well in that. So if you guys are listening, jump back to the description and you'll be able to see that and get some more information. So nice. Well, cool.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, Victor, I really appreciate the chance to talk about the rally, and I hope that answers a lot of questions for people.
Oh yeah.
Or they're excited about it as I am.
Yeah. No, or creates more and we get more people interested, and it's off to the races. I will probably see you before, but if not, I'm going to see you at the 1,000.
For sure. Okay. Good to meet you, Victor.
Yeah, same here. Enjoy. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Wow. We've got another rally event going on in Baja. So this is going to be interesting. Very interesting. So hybrid event, got your sprint race, your typical Baja 1000. I don't want to say typical Baja 1000 because it is the Peninsula Run. So you do have your Baja 1000 coming up, Peninsula Run all the way down from Ensenada to La Paz. The one that everybody, right? The feather and the cap that everybody wants. And then now we're going to add, or there's going to be a different dynamic added to it, in that there's going to be these navigation deviations that you've got to do in this class. So this is definitely going to be interesting. I got a call earlier today, and this is, what's today, Friday? You'll be hearing this on Sunday, but I got the call today, and I was like, hey, I know you saw this. We need to talk about this. And I go, yeah, absolutely, we need to talk about this. So I'm I'm pumped. I'm looking forward to getting back down to Baja. It's going to be a few days down there for the Baja 1000. It'll be nice to go down to La Paz and check it out again. I haven't been down there in years. Wish I was doing it on the adventure bike, but I rather take the car, travel in some comfort and follow along with everybody, because I think it's going to be absolutely epic. So I'm excited. This is going to be awesome. We'll see about. I've been thinking about it. I'd like to get maybe talk to Matthew Glade from Rally Moto Shop. Maybe we can get Mike Johnson on here as well and talk a little bit. What's the thought process? What's from the racer's perspective and the equipment guy's perspective? What's coming? What we can expect or what they're thinking. So I'm excited. This is going to be really, really awesome. So don't forget, if you are listening to this episode on Sunday, we do have an episode that aired on Wednesday. It was a little bit late, but definitely a good listen. You've got Mason Klein headed to Dakar this year. Actually, by the time you hear this, he will be in Spain doing some stuff with Jordy for some rally training. And then right after he finishes that, he's going straight to Morocco to do the Rally de Morocco, and then from there back, because then we've got the SoCal Roadbook Rally that's coming up, Dan Bartolucci and them, and then after that you've got the ride with Happy Dave out in Vegas. Same thing, both rides are fundraiser events for Mason Klein's effort to Dakar, and talking a little bit about that. So I think it's, there's a lot. This is like the end to the rally. Unfortunately, this week was supposed to be spent down in Baja doing the Baja Rally, helping out with them, helping out the rally comp. But things get in the way. We're still in this COVID pandemic. There's still stuff going on, and it makes it difficult for people to travel. So, it's very unfortunate. I know Scotty Mauricio put a lot of effort into the event and getting it going, getting the routes right. Matt as well, Daniel as well, all of those guys. So, I hope they're down there camping, doing their thing, and having a ball. And I think that it is a very well-deserved break. So anyway, that is this week's episode. I am glad I got a chance to talk to Andy Kirker a little bit about it, and ton of racing history. So he's a really cool guy. And I'm glad that he's involved with this. This brings a whole nother perspective to it, because I was not sure, who does Score have somebody that's in their pocket that's helping? I think that was the wrong word. I'm not going to say in their pocket, but somebody that's in the organization that's moto minded. Chris, no pun intended. No, that has that mentality and understands, that's taking the green flags in a helmet, that understands, what a racer's perspective is from it, and helps bring that in. So, there's a lot of stuff that's been going on, and I am absolutely on board. That you've got trucks that are getting faster and faster and faster every single year, and it makes it difficult. Every year it gets a little bit more difficult to outrun them on the bikes. So, I'm hoping there's changes, there's things, there's a lot of stuff going on. This is going to be awesome. This is the perfect way of getting the bikes a little bit further ahead. I think it's going to be good if they go that route and they're able to pull it off, which I think is what they're going to be intending to do with this class. So I don't know. There's still stuff to go, but time to go, and this is going to be awesome. So hopefully you guys got the information that you need, or get a little bit more, get some of that curiosity going. Like he said, and we said, Pro Moto Rally on Facebook. So go join the group, ask the questions, and they'll absolutely help answer them and be a part of that. I know that the guys from DS Pro are in there. So if there's questions about how, or what should I say, logistics, things like that, or maybe you're looking for a bike to rent for this, I know you could get in on that one. And then definitely a couple shout outs through the episode. But we did talk about it. Chris over at Rottweiler for stepping up and putting the money in for the event, for the class, I should say, and getting that going and giving these guys something to shoot for. Daniel Velasquez, I know he's been down there with Carrera 777 doing their thing, and I mean with Knight Rider and Fast House as well. So. And Knight Rider, if you guys, a lot of people maybe know them as the mountain bike company and stuff like that, but the helmet lights, I know they do stuff that'll get set up on that. But if you're a moto guy, you know the red light that you wear on the back. So you got that stuff there. And, of course, always the fast house gear looking fresh. And so now that this sounds like a commercial, let's go with the outro. All right, that is the wrap for the Chasing Waypoints podcast this week. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like what you heard. We are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and a bunch of others. Also, follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook under Chasing Waypoints, Instagram, Chasing Waypoints _official, and, of course, the YouTube under Chasing Waypoints. Hope everybody has a good week. We will see you guys for the next episode. Remember, shiny side up, and don't forget to tag us. We want to see where you guys are riding and what you guys are up to. Have a great week.